It's tough getting back. But once again, let me say I'm happy to be alive, I'm happy to be me, I'm happy to be here now. Yes, thank you. I would like everybody in the audience to say that after me. Would you please do that? I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be me. And I'm happy to be here now. Now let me ask you, do you sincerely believe that? You do. You truly believe it to the point where that statement or series of statements is unwavering, that you are happy to be alive, that you're happy to be you, and that you're happy to be here now? Or is it, yes, sometimes, kind of, well, I don't know, things could be different. Well, today we're beginning the first part of a 6-week series. It's called You Can Heal Your Life, and the entire series is based on moving to a mindset, moving to a spiritual awareness where you can say that with 100% confidence and conviction, no matter what is going on in your life. And let's face it, there's a lot of things about life that we're not happy about. I mean, things happen. We experience a lot of pain in life. You know, we lose loved ones. We make mistakes. We have problems and challenges. But pain comes and goes. Suffering doesn't. And let me explain the difference between the two. Pain is something that hurts us, whether it be physically or emotionally. Pain is something that causes us to go through a period of duress. But pain has a beginning and an end. Suffering is being in pain and thinking that we cannot do anything about it. Suffering is thinking that this pain we feel is going to be a permanent part of our lives from this point forward. And suffering is not natural. I'm walking down the path of life and I get a sliver in my foot, it hurts. I stop, I take the sliver out, the pain has a beginning, the pain has an end, and I continue on my path. I'm walking down the path of life, I get a sliver in my foot, I think that I can't do anything about it, so I just continue walking, and there is pain. Occasionally the pain goes away, but then it comes back. Sometimes it's greater than it is lesser. Sometimes it is so excruciating that I just break down under it. So pain is one thing that is a natural part of life. We have setbacks, we have upsets, we have all sorts of things that go on. But suffering is moving to a point where we surrender to it and we think that nothing can be done about it. You Can Heal Your Life is exactly what that is all about. It's looking at those things in your life that create some sort of a pain for you and you suffer under it because you think that's just the way it is. You think that because of something that happened in the past, something that you did, the guilt and shame you have is something that you must bear, you must suffer under for the rest of your life. You think because you lost a loved one and you're in mourning and you're in grief, that that is what you have to suffer under for the rest of your life. But you can heal that. You might think that a problem or a challenge before you is so great that you can't overcome it, and you suffer under it and live with it, rather than solving it. You Can Heal Your Life is all about finding those areas in your life that cause you to suffer. The ongoing things, sometimes it's self-esteem. I am not good enough. I should have been this, I should have been that. My father always told me I should be this, but I'm not. I'm happy with myself and I suffer under that. So over the next 6 weeks, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to take a journey, so to speak, and I guarantee you, or I assure you, that if you commit yourself to this program for the next 6 weeks, whether you can be here on Sunday mornings or not, doesn't make a difference. If you commit yourself to this, you will see a noticeable change in your life 6 weeks from now. You'll see a noticeable increase in the peace and the happiness and the harmony that you're experiencing. It's just that commitment to say, yes, I am going to move forward the next 6 weeks and I'm going to make changes and I'm going to make choices that's going to allow me to truly say, no matter what's happening in my life, I'm happy to be alive, I'm happy to be me, and I'm happy to be here now. Now, the first step we have to do in this series is to create what we call a cradle. A cradle is kind of like a creed, only it's much, much shorter. A cradle is a statement of belief. It serves as the foundation for your life. It is something that you can depend on. It is something that is always there. No matter what else is falling apart in your life, you always have your cradle, your statement of belief that you can turn to and you can find comfort there. And our cradle is what we said earlier. I am happy to be alive. I'm happy to be me. I'm happy to be here now. No matter what else is going on, I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be me. I'm happy to be here now. And there might be times when you waver on that and you think, yeah, I'm saying it, but I don't really feel it. Well, that's okay. But it's through repetition we're going to discover, and that every time you say, I'm happy to be alive, you're just going to pause for a moment and you'll see something in your outer world that makes you happy that you're alive. So let me ask you this. Are you happy being alive? You might say, yes, I am. That's a natural response. Yes, of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Well, the guy that ran off on me, that's one reason I shouldn't be happy. And I don't like my job. And one of my best friends just kind of betrayed me in a way. And I'm overdoing my credit card bills. And so happy, I don't know. 1 week ago today, last Sunday, 1 million people were alive on this earth. And they're not alive today. 1 million people died in the last week. If you woke up this morning and you were able to prepare yourself to come to church, be happy you're alive. If you've got food at home, a roof over your head, a bed to sleep in, and the creature comforts of life, be happy that you're alive. 50% of the people in the world don't have that. If you can read and write, be happy that you're alive. 70% of the people in the world don't have that. Are you happy you're alive? Yes. But, sure, have your dislikes. If you're angry at something, fine, that's okay. If you dislike one thing or another, fine, that's okay. If you have conflict in an argument, fine, that's okay. That's all a natural part of life. Those are just the balls that we volley. But the overarching credo is, I'm happy to be alive. Yes, but I'm happy to be alive. And I am so invested in this because I just returned from a trip to India, and in preparing for this series before I went, it actually provided me with what I needed to make it through the trip. When I got off the plane in India, it was like walking into a giant tidal wave. And I had absolutely no choice or no decision-making in what was going to happen next. I just had to go with it. There is nothing that I could do to change courses. You know, in the back of a cab on a 4-hour journey to the airport, sick and shivering. Did I like being there? No. But I was happy to be alive. I was happy to be me. I was happy to be there at that time. What else could I do? When I get to the airport, there's a line 2 blocks long, and it's moving at a snail's pace. I get in the line, and I'm still not feeling good. Am I happy about that? No. But I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be me. I'm happy to be there at that time. I get to the counter. My flight's been canceled, which means that I can't connect to my next flight. And everything on the schedule is all of a sudden being put back. Meanwhile, the guy next to me is screaming and yelling at another attendant because his plane's not going to be in time. You know, it wasn't pleasant. I didn't like it. But I was happy to be alive. I was happy to be me. I was happy to be there at that time. And that's what it took for me to say, to affirm every single day as I was going through this process of trying to control and direct and be the duke that I've learned how to be, you know, making sure everything in my world is just right. And all of a sudden I'm helpless. And on top of that, I mean, I'm traveling, please, this isn't a gender thing, but I'm traveling with 3 women, and they don't understand that they've lost the decision-making power, and so they're still making decisions that directly affect me. It's my wife, my sister, and her daughter, all very strong-minded women, and they're directing me. Not only am I lost in this Indian culture, but these 3 women are directing me constantly like I'm a 3-year-old toddler or something. But I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be me. That is what made me through, and that is what's going to take us through the next 6 weeks, and I guarantee you it will become part of a mindset that no matter where you're at, you'll retain a certain peace of mind, you'll retain a certain sense of serenity, and is it going to solve all your problems? No. Is it going to make all of your relationships just hunky-dory like you're floating on cloud nine? No. Is it going to all of a sudden pop you out of a self-esteem issue that you have? No. But it is going to bring you to a point where at any single moment of the day, no matter what's going on in front of you, you can honestly say, I'm happy to be alive, I'm happy to be me, I'm happy to be here now. And in the moment you say that, all of a sudden you will see something in your world that makes you happy to be alive and to be there at that time. So happy to be alive? Yes, of course we are. We're up, we're alive. The only other alternative is to not be alive, or to be unhappy being alive, and what's the use of that? The second thing is I'm happy to be me. Now, of the three, this is the most difficult because we all have issues, we all have self-esteem problems, we all have a little taint of inferiority feelings, we have all sorts of stuff going on with us. You know, sometimes we just don't like being who we are. And that's not fun. It's not easy going through life not liking the package that we're going through life in. So one of the things about this entire series is to make us comfortable in our bodies, make us comfortable with who we are, make us become best friends with this identity that we've taken on for this particular incarnation, is to be happy with who we are. So that brings up the question, well, who exactly are you? Well, you are who you think you are. Just as easy as that. Who do you think you are? Well, you think you are who you've been told you are. Ever since you were a little child, you know, maybe 2 years old or so, when you began to comprehend what was being saying to you, people told you who you were. You know, you're a little boy, you're a brother, you're a sister, you're a son, you're this, you're that, you're stupid, you break stuff. You'll never amount to anything. All of that stuff comes at us, and we take it in, and we put it in our subconscious mind, and that creates our identity. We are everything that we've been told we are up to this point in time. So is that who you really are? I've shared this story with many of you before, but I want to share it again because it has such an important point at this part of the talk. It's about Richard Jones. He lived in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, my hometown, and Richard was a little man. He was a mean little man, just gnarly. And he repaired water towers. When a water tower would have a leak or something, they'd drain the water out of it, his company would. He'd go up, crawl inside the water tower, and weld the leaky spots. Well, one day while he was doing this, his secure strap broke, and he fell about 20 feet, and he landed on his head. They took him to the hospital, and he's in a coma for a week. When he came out of the coma, he had no memory. He didn't know who he was. He didn't know what had happened. He didn't know what his life story was. And even though he is mean and obnoxious and treated people in a very disrespectful way, the people that knew him came to see him in the hospital. He didn't recognize them. He didn't know who they were, but they came to see him. And when they walked in his room, they treated him with kindness, and they treated him with love, and they treated him with respect, and they showed great care and concern for his well-being. Now, Richard was starting a brand new book about who I am, and he's seen all these people love him and respect him and tell him that they care for him. He became a loving person. He became a respectful person. He became a caring person. Why? Because that's how he was being treated. And I'm sure Richard, as a youngster, was teased a lot in the playground a lot. I'm sure that he was bullied. He was bullied to the point where he became the bully. He became a tough little guy. And he was mean. But one small bump in the head, and boom, his life started all over. You know, everybody waited for the fuzziness to wear off. They thought once he retains or gets back his memory, he's going to turn back into the Richard Jones that he had always been. And his memory started to come back a little bit, but he didn't change. He was still a nice, loving person. Now, the beautiful part about it, we don't have to fall and get bumped in the head in order to determine who we want to be from this day forward. If you've got parts of yourself you don't like that can be changed, you've got the power to change them. You can heal those thoughts that cause you to turn on yourself with rejection or criticism or condemnation. You can heal that. So the point is, who do you want to be? You might think, well, I'm happy being me, but I'm too small, or I'm too tall, or I have excess poundage, or I did some stuff in the past and I wasn't a nice person at all, and I feel really guilty and shameful, and I'm a bad person for that. And you know, my older sister has always been much smarter than me, and my older brother's always been better at sports, and yet all that stuff, all the buts going on, you know, but, that's what keeps me from being happy with who I am. Well, throw all that out the window and just, I am happy being me. This is the only vehicle that you have to move through life in. You don't want to go through it as an enemy. Love yourself. What you have is an incredible gift. Are you happy to be here now? That's a very easy question to answer right here and right now. Sitting in this magnificent temple, you know, surrounded by beauty and art, listening to the music, surrounded by people in a very loving community. Yeah, I'm happy to be here now. I mean, why wouldn't I be? But what about tomorrow? When you're all stuck in that traffic? And what about when somebody stomps all over the landscape of your life and doesn't say, excuse me? When difficult things come to measure all over the moment that you're in, can you say, I'm happy to be here now? Of course you can. Why not? You are there now, so why not be happy being there and know, so this is part of my life. You know, I don't have to go to a movie theater or sit down and watch TV to catch a reality program. I've got my own reality show going right here, and each and every one of you are a part of it. And it's incredible. I mean, there's sadness, and there's anger, and there's joy, and there's love, and it's all this mixture of emotions that's just an absolute fabulous journey once we embrace it. When I say I am happy to be alive, I'm happy to be me, I'm happy to be here now, I don't mean a giddy, knee-slapping, loud laughing type of happiness. You know, what I'm talking about is just being content. I'm content with life. I love living on planet Earth. I mean, if you look at any other planets around that you might want to move to, how does that compare with Earth? You know, with the mountains and the meadows and the trees and the fruits and the animals and the everything. This is it. This is the coolest planet ever. Who can deny that? I like living in this country. Sure, it's got its problems. You know, and we're facing some major challenges, but I love being here now. I love being in this city. I love being in this church. I love being here now. No matter what is going on, we can say that. I love being here now. So as we move into meditation, I want you to just repeat in this cradle. I'd like all of us to adopt it for 6 weeks. If you want to further up on this series, the books are in the bookstore by Louise Hay. It's an incredible book. It's sold 30 million copies. It's healed millions and millions of people. But just adopt as your cradle, I'm happy to be alive, I'm happy to be me, I'm happy to be here now. It's printed on the front of the bulletin. As we go into meditation, just say that quietly to yourself and allow it really to sink in. Discover the truth within it. Yeah. In the midst of it all. And I know right now many of you are going through difficult times. You're facing problems and challenges that seem too high to overcome. Life can be hard, but that's life. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be me. I'm happy to be here now. We'll now move into meditation.
I am Take a deep breath and just hold it for a moment, then slowly exhale. The key to meditation is moving to a place in mind where you are happy to be. We have 7 minutes to meditate. It is your time to do whatever you want. It's your private time to rest and to relax. It's your time to be happy that you're here now. Life is what it is. It is a journey continually moving forward. We are an essential part of it. And we can experience the ups and downs. That's all a part of life. There's nothing wrong with your anger. It's a part of life. There's nothing wrong with your sadness or depression. That's a part of life. There's nothing wrong with relationships that are full of conflict or resentment. That's part of life. But all those things can be healed. We don't have to suffer under them. And in the midst of it all, no matter what is taking place, no matter how much our heart hurts, no matter how much our mind is tormented, we can say with confidence and conviction, I'm happy to be alive because this is my life. This is the way my spirit travels. I'm happy to be me. I am what I am. A beautiful, precious soul, living in a world that's trying to make me into something that I'm not. At that same time, moving forward and maintaining my integrity and being the person who I really am. And I'm happy to be here now. I'm happy to be here now. begin to bring your attention back to this time and this place. And as you come back, bring with you a sense of serenity, a sense of contentment. Let us be content with life, content with who we are, content with where we're at any given time. And let us realize to be content is dependent on the content of our minds. And so it is.